Luther King Day uh, edition of Degen Monday. And yeah, I mean, these are kind of weird holidays. I shouldn't say weird holidays. I mean, whenever I have a day off from the market, it's just kind of a weird day. And unfortunately, um, we have day slates to kind of keep us busy. Not that there's not other stuff to do, but um, I do have some time to put into this today, so may as well do it. Now, again, for those of you that were, well, I'll wait for people to show up here. People are going to show up at all, but for those of you that were here yesterday, I mean, that was just so much fun. I mean, just kind of to say the least. Here's my. I'm going to start with sharing this thing. I mean, that was as much fun as I've had in a while with DFS because listen, the winning is great, but like just the live sweat and the community being part of it all. I mean, that's was so much fun, just so much fun. Well, I don't know, Adam. Do you have your I mean, I don't know if you're off today. I mean, the market's closed, so I have a little more time today. Um, and yeah, so yeah, for those of you that missed yesterday's fun, I basically had my screen shared like for 7 hours yesterday. Just throughout the entire course of the day, my DraftKings thing was up, and we did slate previews. We came back and did updates and all this stuff, and then we caught on to a live sweat that we had about I guess 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, maybe. I mean, Adam Perry and I both had a lineup that was doing really well in the Miami Showdown slate, and we ended up just basically live sweating that all the way right to the end. So Adam and I ended up chopping that, and that was obviously just a whole bunch of fun. Um, and again, I keep trying to figure out how to recreate what I was doing with Poker X Factor when I did that, and that was a combination of teaching people how to play, and also just kind of live sweating when I play. And again, the interesting dynamic, and I struggle with this is like when people are watching me play poker, they're literally watching me play as I'm playing, right? But when we sweat a DFS result, like you're not actually watching me play, right? The playing is over by the time the games start. Now we're just basically rooting for the stuff to just come piling in. But it's kind of fun to do that. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to make that happen. Um, I mean, obviously, keep doing this the six. Yeah, I figured, Adam, that was the idea, is to learn something also, and obviously like keeping my screen available and just being available for 6-7 hours a day. That's obviously never happening, but it was at least something to do like from time to time. Uh, and I'll talk to Bobby about it. Maybe we'll do some more of that. The only issue, that's not the only issue, but NBA is just kind of late, and but I don't know. If I'm up, I'll do it anyway. So we'll see. So what we are going to do is the following. So there are several slates kind of going today. We have, just to kind of summarize, we have, let's keep this up here. So we have NBA, we have several slates. Okay, so we'll get to them in a minute, but one of them starts at 1 on DraftKings, then another one starts at 2:30 on FanDuel, and then at 3 p.m. on DraftKings. Then there are two hockey slates. There's a hockey slate that starts at 1 on DraftKings. I'm not going to follow the FanDuel one. And then there is another hockey slate a little later on in the day. We'll figure out where that is, and I didn't even put the sheets up for that yet. I want the first slate to go off. I don't even have the capability to put up multiple hockey slates on TrueDFS, so I'm going to wait till that slate locks before I even look at 5 o'clock. So we have that to talk about, and then we have NFL Showdown. Obviously, that's not for another 8 hours. So Bobby is going to come in a little while, maybe at like 2. And to talk about the later NBA slate. I mean, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about it as well. But I mean, it's possible that after an hour here, after say the first slate locks, maybe I'll keep the stream running once again, and Bobby will just kind of show up at 2 to talk about the late changes for the NBA slate, what he's doing there, and we'll just kind of play the whole thing by ear again. Again, this is not something I could do all the time because I'm usually working and I can't keep my screen available and all this stuff. But yeah, we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. I also have some horse racing stuff that we're going to put on there. So what this is kind of the residual of the LOL slate. That's just, for whatever reason, it's just kind of slow to grade. It was slow to score as well, and it was. I mean, I won, but it was really chalky. I'm really not happy with the way I shouldn't say happy with the way I played. I kind of thought I even though I played the chalky lineups, I thought my lineup builds were kind of weird enough looking that I could get some uniqueness. And I did have a couple of unique lineups, but what came in was the real chalk. Like, this was the single entry. And I just snuck into the money. They paid for 4 spots or something, and I just kind of barely got in there with Jackie Love going off in the last 20 minutes of that game. And then I actually participated in the Mega Chop. See, first place, $296 in the MME one as well, and you'll see what happens. I mean, this is everybody's 100% owned, and just I got lucky that this actually ended up chopping. Otherwise, I would have lost money on the slate. So again, I just felt like playing, so that's what we decided to do. All right. So one thing I did not do yet, and we'll do this first, is I did not yet look at the early NBA slate, which is the 2-gamer. I'm not gonna do full sheets for that. But what we're going to do is we are going to look at it, and we're going to use just SaberSim to kind of build. And this is the way we're going to look at it when we don't have the projections up yet. So first, I'm just going to look at the games. So let's create a new lineup. So what do we have? We have Boston at Charlotte. You have 230 point total there, and you have Indiana, Milwaukee. It's a 230 point total there. Both games have about an 8 or 10 point spread, so they look to be very similar as far as game environments, right? Similar totals, similar blowout risk or lack thereof. You know what I mean? They're very, very similar. The other thing I'll notice before I even get into it is I do see Giannis as he's probable. Okay. So Giannis is probable. What else do I see? Drew Holiday is probable. This is without even looking at projections or anything. Then this is what I was going to think. So Miles Turner is questionable. So this has been a thing for the last several games, where he has been out, and his minutes and usage were replaced by some combination of Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, and to some degree, actually, Brissett got some minutes, but he didn't really play the 5. He played actually alongside of whichever 5-man was in the game. I had him pretty good here when he had 34 fantasy points on the 13th. I mean, he was like 2% owned in this game, in that slate, which is interesting. And then the game after that, he was awful. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen with Miles Turner. But aside from that, it looks like, let's see, Portis, if he's even relevant, he's probable. So first thing, again, before you even get into it, is if the Turner news, or if Turner is not ruled on by the time the 1 o'clock game starts, we are going to have to make a decision of what to do with that. Because once again, if in fact Turner is out, without even looking. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say without looking, because they did up these guys a little bit. Like Isaiah Jackson, I think, was 3K first time. Yeah, he was 3K twice in a row. And yeah, 31, 37, 31 points at 3K is obviously a huge smash. And if he starts again, I don't think the $4,400 is going to make much of a difference. And you're going to have to probably play him. So you don't want to go crazy with centers in the first game, if you could possibly help it. So let's take a look at the I don't think Sabersim's going to mind. Let's take a look at the Sabersim projections for today. And what I'm going to do is, again, I'm not going to do full sheets for this, but we can do the same process that I would if I did have full sheets to look at. We're going to take a look at it. We'll see what would happen if we wanted a hand build, and then maybe just run a Sabersim build. So here's the early slate, and we're rating them here by point per dollar. And I see that PJ Washington is rated as the top point per dollar play on the slate. The other thing that I noticed, though, is that it's not that great of a projection. In other words, it's only 5.5x. So what that means to me is that you're probably going to want to be, playing a middling type build. You're probably not going to want to play Giannis on the slate. It's in my head, right? If you're going to need to play, kind of like fishy value. On the other hand, though, being a short slate, it does also put a premium on raw points. So it's a little push and a little pull there. So the way I would do this, well, first of all, I would never just rank by points per dollar. But if you were rating by points per dollar, what you want to do is really, let's say this was all you had at your disposal and you wanted a hand build, you would look to find we'll get to this, Brian, in a minute. We'll get to, if you're this is like a little trick. If you're sorting by points per dollar, you want to find the highest salaried guy that's kind of projects well points per dollar, if that makes sense. And then likewise, if you're sorting by, say, projection, you want to buy the cheapest guy, if possible, that has a good projection. Right? So, and the one guy, which is, of course, the way things work, that fits this is Miles Turner, right? So Miles Turner, he rates to have the 5th highest fantasy point production, and he's all the way down to 7K. And likewise, when you sort by value, he's a pretty higher priced guy. So he looks actually pretty good. So we are gonna. I really think that you need to, I would not play a center from that first game, because I think that you're either going to want to play Turner or the replacement for Turner, right? Not to mention, if I'm not mistaken, Giannis, you can't play a power forward. Okay. So I think that the Boston centers and the Charlotte centers are probably something you probably don't want to play. But then you look at this and you see Robert Williams is the 2nd highest point per dollar play. And then you have Mason Plumlee, who is the 4th highest point per dollar play. So boy, oh boy, this is kind of an interesting slate, I think, from just a lineup construction perspective. You have basically centers and these power forwards too. Look at, you have PJ Washington projected as the top point per dollar play on the slate, and he's a power forward. And then when you sort by just highest projection, then you have Giannis, who's power forward, and Tatum, power forward. You can play him there too. So very, very interesting. There's gonna be a play at that center power forward position that's a good play. That's not going to be as highly owned. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I think it's interesting. So if I were going to build, just again for fun, let's just build a hand built lineup. Let's put in Turner for now. Okay. We put in Turner for now. And then again, we go back and then we'd say, okay, who else did we say? Go back into, we'll sort by value, and who else is high priced? Plumlee again. Is there any guard that looks good here if you rate it this way? I guess Duarte. And then LaMelo. So let's do that. Let's put in LaMelo. Duarte, really cheap. I mean, 3,900. Boy, oh boy, he started the last game. That looks good to me. So that's actually a really, really good way to start. And now, if you want to, you could play probably Giannis and get away with this. I mean, even if Turner plays, I think there's enough of that guard value, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I guess the guards probably got priced up. So you'd start like this, and then who's going to small forward here? Again, we're just looking at. Again, we're pretending we're looking at my sheets, but we're really looking here. So Duarte, he's a small forward eligible too, and Matherin again. So we're back to the same dudes. Matherin, Duarte, Turner, and it is probably pretty pure to run it back with Giannis, right? So yeah, I think I see where we're headed here. I think that the majority of the builds are going to be multiple Pacers, whether it be with Turner or not, and run back with Giannis. And it certainly makes sense to do that. But I wonder, though, on a 2-game slate, if you might want to be contrarian and just do the opposite. You go do something else like this. You play like you put LaMelo up over here, and yeah, now Rich, just for let's keep it real. We have Adam Perry, who was one of the choppers with us. It was me, Adam, and one other guy, and listen, I will also say, listen, put props where it is. Adam had better lineups, not better lineups. He had other chances. Like, even if the lineup that I had that we ended up chopping with didn't win, he had some lurkers. Adam had some really live lineups in that showdown slate, aside from the one that got there. So that was a pretty sharp job by him, if you want to know the truth. So LaMelo. So I think that, again, without even building using SaberSim, I think a cool way to play would be to root for the Indiana-Milwaukee game to bust, and then hope that the Charlotte-Boston game just kind of blew up a little bit. So we'll start with Tatum and LaMelo, and then you could also go. Remember, we said that Plumlee looked like a good play. So if you started like this instead of like Giannis, then you could fill in with some of these other guys. Like, and who's the good point per dollar play I mentioned? The PJ Washington, right? So we started to do this and then filled in the rest of these, like with, then you can go with your Duarte over here and your Matherin, you know what I mean? So you can kind of play this way instead of the Giannis route. Okay. So Brian is saying, from the Pacers website, reader last meeting, Giannis scored 50 points in 17-21 shooting and also pulled down 14 rebounds. Yeah, all the more reason why you should probably fade him in this spot. He's going to be 100% owned. It's just so easy to make those stacks with the Indiana cheapos with Milwaukee that a lot of people are going to do it. And not to mention, he scored like 1,000 fantasy points last time against these guys. I think that you're probably supposed to fade it. That's just my opinion. Let's take a look at what SaberSim will do here. So let's, I don't actually have any sheets, so we're just going to use SaberSim's projection and just fooling around with it a little bit. So if you played 50 lineups or 40 lineups, say, in this tournament, what would you probably think you'd be getting? I would imagine like 100% Giannis, but let's just see. Actually, no. It's actually the opposite. It's getting all that Charlotte. The top owned guys look like the Charlotte guys, McDaniels, LaMelo, and PJ Washington, which is very surprising to me. So, yeah. So again, I'm going to fire some. As a matter of fact, you know what? I did reserve some in the bigger tournament, so I may as well do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on State Kings. You had 75% Giannis, but that was 30 minutes ago. I mean, Brian, I don't think you listen. I don't know what to tell you, but like in a tournament like this, 2-game slate, I just wouldn't play him. I don't know. I just wouldn't do it. This is what has to happen. He's going to be like through the roof owned. I think you're just going to have to get every other piece right. Where if you fade him, and listen, what's got to happen? So first of all, this game could blow out and he score 50 fantasy points, and then you're in a world of trouble, right? I do think it's reasonable that if you do play Giannis here, to make sure that you play the higher scoring Pacers, but again, you have this Miles Turner news that's kind of hanging out there. So it's an interesting decision, right? If you go too nuts on the Charlotte side, then you don't have enough flexibility to change to Indiana sides. So that's extremely interesting. So, Brian, you're debating between Tatum and Giannis. What, are you going to play one lineup? I mean, how many lineups do you usually play? I think that's important here. I mean, I really think that, I don't know. I just, let's look at it another way. Look at projections. I really think that I would rather play Tatum and Ball together than Giannis. I think that would be my preferred route. I believe that's what I would like to do. It is hard to take a stand, but life's difficult. All right, so let's so this is the order of things I have to do this first. So first I'll change the I have to update my lineups, and then I'll talk a little bit of hockey for the early slate, and then we will do whatchamacallit. Then we'll do some other stuff. Okay, but I have to go to State King. You guys can watch me do this. Actually, you guys can watch me do this if you want. So, if you guys, by the way, if any of you want to post action on State Kings, like if you're like an advanced player and you want to do it, we can get you up on there. I mean, there's like kind of an application process, but we can kind of streamline that for you if you wanted to do that. So anyway, let us know if that's something that you're interested in. The other thing I have to keep in mind is this. Okay, so we have to watch this for a second. Sorry. So we have to watch race 2 at Parks. And I'll tell you who to root for. How about that? We're going to actually root for the 3. But if the 2 or the 10 win, that's okay. But the 3 is 15-1. So where else do you get this, right? What other DFS site do you get live sweats from Parks Racing? Okay, so again, we are rooting for the 3, 15-1. The 2 and the 10 win, it's not the end of the world. Not that it's the end of the world if anybody else wins, but 2 and the 10 were probably, okay. But the 3 is the one we really have to root for here. So we're going to root for that. Then we're going to post some stuff on State Kings. And Parks, by the way, used to be Delaware Park, for those of you that have knowledge of horse racing. Okay, so you see this guy all the way in the back? The guy that's like beating no horses? That's us. So it's not looking so hot. The 2 is like going crazy on the front end here. He looks like he's bottoming this field out. We'll just see what happens. But it just certainly looks like, well, the 7 is 9-5 second choice. So he's, so I guess he's the only danger. Oh my God, look at this race string out. Yeah, look at this. The 7 gobbling him up a little bit. Yeah, 7's going right by him. Wow, this is crazy. All right, so not great. Not great news at Parks. Boy, oh boy, he's going to win this race by a billion lengths. Look at this. And the 10 is actually going to sneak up in for second, probably. Okay. Before I forget, there's something I wanted to bet this pick 4 here. So we're going to put this in right now. If anyone wants to tail this, I mean, God bless you. But so, that was the second race. Sorry. In the third race, it was 3, 4, 5 with 4, 5, and 10, right? So we're going to bet pick 3. You use the 3, 4, 5 here with the 4, 5 with the 10, 11. These are pretty decent values over here at Parks. Put that in. We'll come back to sweat those in a minute. So now next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to State Kings. We're going to go to State Kings. We're going to put some stuff up here. So let's do, it's like kind of hard. Let's do an NBA. Okay, so we have to specify this. There's no way people are going to know the difference, but we'll try anyway. Early slate only. I know we'll enter a proper date and time. I know. Today, 12 p.m. No, that's a 1 p.m., right? 1 p.m. This is good. Live stream, we're not going to do that. We're just going to put stream name. We'll sell 20 cents, $1.20 from that. I think this is right. 1.2, and post that. We'll do another one here. And then so what is this thing I'm in? Hold on. That's the one thing I haven't got quite used to yet, is to know the names of the tournaments. And I'm trying my best to make this work for everybody, for the State Kings community. But yesterday, they really pissed me off. I mean, I spent so much time doing it. They only bought like 8% of the thing that cashed for $45,000. I mean, what are they doing? Okay, so this is going to be called the NBA DK. This is the Slam Jam. No one's buying this because no one even knows that this early slate. I'm going to put it up there anyway. Early slate only. And then one entry. 5K for first. January 16th, 1 p.m., 222, screen name, Paves, boom. And then we're going to do the hockey. Well, we're going to put the hockey up and then we'll talk about it. Okay, fair enough? Otherwise I'm going to forget. We're going to do first the kick save. The early kick save, right? So early kick save is going to be just 3K for first, but I'm going to do it anyway. Enter proper date. Okay, that's fine. That's fair enough. I know what you're doing because they poofed my buy-ins the other day. I mean, my posts. All right, so 116, 1 p.m. Okay, 3K for first. And let's put this up here. Post. But we're not going to do the live stream. DK. Screen name. Okay. Boom. And the other thing that we're doing is the top shelf. So let's find top shelf. I think I did one of these here. No, I called it back check. We're going to call it top shelf. I like that they changed the date here because, again, I posted all these tournaments that didn't take for some reason. 1 p.m. And this is how much? 333 for the top shelf. Let's just double check that. Or is it 222? No, it's the top shelf is 333. 10K for first. 10K for first. 33. One entry. 116. Okay, so now I have to now double check these to make sure they actually worked because it was a disaster yesterday. My account, my packages. So we have Slam Jam, we have the fadeaway early, sold out. Kick save, top shelf. Oh, this is gonna be. I gotta put early entry only. Hold on a minute. Crap. Well, they know since it's this early, they're not gonna buy this anyway. Early slate, and then this one. Early slate. Okay. Let's look at my packages, make sure it's here, and we'll post the other ones a little bit later. Early slate, EL. Okay. Early slate. Okay. I don't have to post that. I posted them because everybody got it already. All right, fine. Okay. Good. Let me get back to to you guys. All right, so let's take a look at the hockey for the early slate. I did post sheets for that, so let's just take a look. NBA. And we'll do this. We're just going to just do exactly how we do it. So, okay. That's crap. I want NBA Yahoo. I want NHL. DK. Oh my God. Read only, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Boy, you got these two Jersey guys up here, huh? What's this slate look like? I don't even know. So you have Bostons, you have New Jerseys, you have Buffaloes, you have Floridas, right? Well, it looks like, well, these guys are not on the same line, so it's a little annoying. Dougie Hamilton, Craig Anderson it's the goalie. So I guess the Florida's, I mean, use Florida, right? With Barkov, Reinhardt, Kachuk. Guess that makes sense. And then you go back to these two Detroit cheapos. Well, Larkin's really not so much of a cheapo. Bertuzzi always kind of shows up. So you can play kind of a Detroit power play line. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So I think I'm going to hand build. I think I'm going to go play. Boy, but then there's Boston. Doesn't look like a really good hand built slate here. What about these two Seattle guys? What about Eberle and Donato? Can I build around them? Not really. They're not even on the same power play line. It's kind of a bad hand built. This is kind of a bad hand building slate, at least for me. I mean, I would start with. I honestly wouldn't even know where I would start. I guess I'm going to see what SaberSim will give me. Let's go to SaberSim. Go into NHL. Seattle 3? Okay. Sounds good to me. And then you jammed in Buffalo? Huh? Let's see what it looks like. We're gonna do that. And then we're also gonna build the NBA big one for the early slate. All right, so NHL. Well, let's build the MME first. Build it with 25 lineups, something like that. Let's see. In the MME, actually getting, Buffalo. Yeah, but look at all these 3-2s and 4s. This is a messed up slate, huh? Colorado, bunch of 4-2s. I mean, first of all, I don't want to play this many lineups. Let's make it 25, 28 or something like that. The other thing is I don't want to play all this, like these 3-0s. So let's get rid of that. Get rid of the 2-2-2s on this slate. Get rid of the 4-0s even. Definitely get rid of the 3-2s. Just keep applying. I mean, you got to have some kind of correlation, right? This already feels bad, but all these 4-2s, I don't know. Yeah, so Buffalo, I'm gonna jam Buffalo, but I'm gonna get these this Devils guy that's showing up, and Toes as a utility. This actually is not a bad build here. And I'm getting some Colorados. Then there's these Detroit cheapos. There's a bunch of Devils. Yeah, I guess this all looks somewhat reasonable. Yeah, pretty bad early slate as far as hockey goes. I mean, listen, I'm playing, but definitely not the best. Boy, I wish I got some from Florida. I am getting some Florida. Okay, that's fine. You know what we can do? We can cheat a little bit. Let's make it. No, you know what? Let's hand bill. Let's be. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be. We'll be pure. So let's put. I'm gonna pull this up in a second, and then we do the same thing with NBA for the big buy-in as well. Okay. Let me pull this up over here. Sorry. So let's get up the hockey. And this is the big buy-in here. Well, I like I'm leaving all this money on the table. I like that. So this is the top shelf. And this is the single entry. Let's get the top shelf up here. Okay, so this let's just clear the deck here. Build this completely from scratch using our sheets. Where'd we go? Pull up. And then we'll get into the main slates, the NBAs, and all that stuff in a minute. Okay, so let's start. So Dougie Hamilton can go with Jesper Bratt. So why don't we start with that? How about that? So we're going to start Dougie Hamilton and Jesper Bratt. I think that.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's happening? So we're just finishing up hand building this hockey, and then I'm gonna go back and readdress the big buy-in in the early slate, and then we can start talking about the later slate if you want.
Yeah, would love to.
You can just start talking right now.
I don't know the early slate at all. I just know the main slate.
Okay, go ahead, fire it up. Start off with it.
I'm not ready yet. I just got in.
Oh. So tell us about your weekend or whatever. Tell me.
It was a friend's birthday, and then I had Kay the rest of the weekend. So it was just a lot of stuff going on. But congratulations to you and Adam. I mean, that's awesome stuff in the NFL.
Dude, you missed all the fun.
I know. I really did. I really.
So I don't know if you caught what I ended up doing yesterday. So I fired up the live stream at like I forget what time it was, like 11 in the morning. And I left my screen running all day long with my DraftKings lobby for people just to come and watch it, like update. And I kept on coming back and forth with updates and going through slate after slate after slate. If you see like the stream, it was like 7 hours.
That's incredible.
And then wait. So then when I came, I said, my plan was to come check on the first game slate at like 3:30 or whatever. Then we're gonna talk about the NBA. And we were watching this, and I'm looking up my lobby. I'm something's cashing for like 6,000 or whatever. So I pulled up the Showdown slate, and I saw that I think it was Cole Beasley scored something, and then I'm like, oh, this should go up, and it went up to like 28th place. I'm like, boy, I'm only tied with like two other people for this lineup, and I'm like, oh, and there's Adam Perry, he's one of them. So we ended up basically live sweating like the whole fourth quarter. We got into first. Can you imagine this? We got into first and held first the whole fourth quarter.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we fought off all of the comers. And to be honest, like there was only a couple of mild points of aggravation. Like we needed to fade like a field goal by the Miami guy, and it never even got really into that spot. The only chance, by the way, that the big threat to that lineup was actually another one of Adam Perry. So like, yeah, he had another one kind of like lurking with Ahmed, but towards the end of the game, like Ahmed wasn't going to get any more touches when it was too close. So we ended up. That was obviously just a lot of fun.
That's unbelievable, man. I think it's awesome, and I couldn't be happier for you should split it with Adam Perry too on top of it. You know
of course. I mean that's like
great stuff.
I'll tell you that was like 40% of my time yesterday was when people came in saying, "Sheets, you're the GOAT." I'm like, dude, Adam did the same freaking lineup on less entries, and he had guys he had much better. He had other lineups lurking, and that made me just as happy as anything else.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's really incredible stuff.
Yeah.
I was sorry to miss it all. I am ready to get back to it with the NBA today, and it was definitely a lot of weekend that had nothing to do with sports for me, which was a little bit of a bummer. But I really, really was sorry to miss that, especially. I mean, that would have been really, really cool to be there for that. So
yeah.
How did everything else go for the rest of the day too? By the way,
everything else is bad.
Okay.
Everything else was kind of like just nothing not terrible, but like listen, I felt good. I cashed in the Wildcat, and I know that Rhodey had a piece of me in the Wildcat. I think I literally was the absolute min cash. I think in the Wildcat.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
oh,
sure.
man.
I mean, like I think I got literally 400 and something place or something like that.
That's wild.
So there was that. But most important is how about them Giants?
Yeah, that was a you know, I was not a surprise. I had them winning. I actually did hit a parlay on all the NFL games.
What?
Yeah, but it's not like a crazy huge one, but I had all the teams because I won I had all the bets right. And then I have another one tonight with parlay if Dallas wins outright. So I just had the Niners. I had the Niners just money line because I was like, okay, I actually like the other team to cover. And I put a few different parlays out with some friends. But I had the Baltimore plus 9.5, Miami plus 13.5. So it paid like 10-1, but it was still a fun little parlay on the NFL weekend. But yeah, it was a fun weekend. All right, so what are you doing today?
Well, hold on.
In terms of the NFL, NBA, what are you
finishing? I'm just finishing up this
the early slate.
I need a one. No, I'm finishing off. I need a one-off to finish the hockey lineup here.
What time is hockey?
This is annoying. I have to. I find a 5K. Oh, we can play Eberly. Leave money on the table. We can do that. That works.
Is it at 10? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 1 p.m. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's take a look at let's take a look at the NBA slate. Let me see. So am I good for the early? Yeah, I'm good for the early. Read only. Okay, so you looked at this. I mean, the first thing I looked at, I didn't build anything yet. It's like that Anthony Edwards is like kind of criminal here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I mean, all these guys are questionable, but I assume that he's going to play. The whole
he's
team
always questionable, and he always plays.
He's a tough one. You're right. He does tend to do it. That whole game and that looks like a fun little game stack. Like that's sort of my thoughts on the earlies on the main slate. I think Minnesota, I think Edwards, Gobert, Taurean Prince, and then you run it back with something like a Beasley or something, and it makes for a nice little game stack. So that's sort of my first look. And those are the guys who stand out to me. That's going to be hard to get a little bit different because it's kind of a small slate. It's a lot of good tournaments, but there's not a whole lot of ways to get different. Jaden McDaniels also you could throw into a stack there. I just think that game has a lot of value to offer, and you can get a nice stack in pretty cheap. So I'm going to probably focus most of my builds on that game. Do you have anything else that's showing up?
Yeah, I have a comment to make. So someone came into the chat and said no Giannis today. Does that mean you're not playing Giannis, or is he out? That's a really big. You have to. You have to specify that, because now I'm going back to the discords to see if he's out. Hold on.
That's the earlier slate, obviously.
Yeah, I don't see anything with Giannis out. So I'm just presuming that this comment, he is ruled out. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
So you can take over this, because I'm now going to change these early slate lineups. That's kind of sucks, because I was going to fade him anyway, which is
that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to play everybody from there, and it seems like a really kind of a lousy slate then without him.
It always was a lousy slate. Now it's even worse.
It's worse, yeah. I guess you could get creative and play guys like Nwora or something like that.
Yeah.
I do think Nwora has a reasonable path, and I don't think he'll start. So I think that there is upside for him if he gets the minutes. That's what I would probably do with that information. I've got unfortunately, most of my takes are going to be on the other slate, and it's an interesting one because we have weird like suspect value, but there's nobody really to pay up for that you really want on the main slate. So it's kind of a tricky situation. I think Curry is. I'm gonna like have to force him into my lineups because I just have enough money to spend. And yeah, anyway, it's again, I'm only talking main slate because I don't have the other stuff. I guess Mitchell is a pretty good play. Yeah, I do like Mitchell a little bit. We haven't really seen the big Curry game in a while, though, and I feel like this might be the day.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. Let me just see something. Oh my God, Oladipo 6,100. What am I missing here? That seems like a lot. He's been really good, though. If I played Mitchell. Geez, I literally have like all players but one in the Utah-Minnesota game in my lineup. They're all in that game. Can that win? I got to figure out if that's even a potential to win.
Yeah, it can win.
Why not?
They say this is America, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna get into the chat in a minute. I haven't seen everybody. Good to see you guys. You guys, please get the likes up, as Brody said. We really appreciate it. Drew season, obvious. So everybody's talking about the early stuff mostly. Guys, ask any questions or thoughts on the main slate because I just finished my initial build and it's pretty. I'm only gonna play one lineup and it is just so hammered on that Utah Minnesota game. I just can't seem to get away from it.
Well, let me see. Let's have some fun. Let me let me do a build here and see what Saberson would come up with. Because I haven't done this yet. Let's actually that's not true. I did do one, but I'm gonna do another one.
I just said there's one game I'm stacking, Jimmy, to answer that question, and it's going to be the Utah Minnesota game.
So Bradley Beal is out. Okay.
Bradley Beal, yeah, we knew that. Let's see what else is there.
Yeah, so I'm getting like a whole. I mean, the top owned guy would be Edwards. Second would be Taurean Prince. Like, is Taurean Prince somebody we really want to play?
It's up to you.
Okay.
I'm fine.
You don't mind him?
I mean, it's 5 games. It's not a whole lot to choose from. He's getting minutes. If you want the value, you can take it. It's not something I think you have to do, but it's a 5-game slate. It's not like I'm not worried. Like I don't think about suspect value on some tiny slates.
What about Beal being out? Is he leading you towards Washington guys?
Not really. He's been out basically the whole season.
Right.
No, it's not. There's nothing new. Monty Morris is back, so that takes away Goodwin, and you could play DeLon Wright because they're starting to ramp up his minutes, and I do think they want him to be more of the part of the rotation. But I think he's probably going to be in that 24-minute range. But I don't like love that either for value. If I wasn't going to stack the Utah-Minnesota game, I might just close my eyes and try to find a way to stack the Knicks and Raptors. You just don't get matchups where everybody's going to play in 500 million minutes.
Right. Okay, so wait. So we're going to sweat the horse racing here. All right, so we're rooting for 3, 4, or 5 here. And if this 3 holds on here at 8-1, that would be a really good play. And the 5 right here is 10-1. So if either of these freaking cockroaches, that's pretty good. So let's get this 3 to hold on. I don't need this stupid 1 horse, this 8 horse to be coming to get me. It looks like the 3 is in good shape here, though. I mean, not good shape. I mean, he's total cripple. 4 could catch him on the wire here. It's going to be kind of tight. I think 3's got it, though. All right, that's good. 10-1 on the 3. All right, good news. Good news. Actually, it was 8-1, but we will take it. We will take it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's all good.
So what did it give you on the build?
Yeah. So as I was mentioning, like a whole bunch of Minnesota. I mean, Anthony Edwards, Terrain Prince, Clarkson as the top, but not that much of the Utah, except for the Clarkson.
Yeah, so I like Kessler. I think they're going to match up size with size versus Gobert, and I think people haven't noticed that Kessler has really flashed his ceiling, and he's got a real ceiling. And I'm never afraid of Gobert. Like, it's not like a thing that happens. So Kessler's 5,100. He's put up 37 or more in 3 of the last 4. The guy, look, there's a wide range of outcomes, but I do like his ceiling. I think that Malik Beasley is too cheap, and I will definitely take shots with him. He's going to be pretty popular for a guy who's volatile, which I don't love, but since I'm stacking the game, I'm okay with it. I like everybody from Minnesota. Like I like Edwards, particularly. I like Edwards, Anderson, Gobert, and McDaniels. Those are my 4 favorites.
Okay, so FanDuel, just so you know, FanDuel has the Milwaukee game. FanDuel starts at 2:30.
Okay.
So that's so if you play FanDuel, that's definitely what I was planning on.
You're playing the Bucks on FanDuel.
Probably, yeah. And I'm going to be obviously going to do a projection stuff for that projection update for Milwaukee, probably within the next like half an hour.
Yeah.
I'll put that up there because if after half an hour it'll be 1:30, and then it'll be like 1 hour before the FanDuel slate, an hour and a half before the other one.
Yeah. What is going on with these storms? This is getting out of control.
Well, what do you got?
Dude, it's been flooded. Every road was closed. You couldn't drive anywhere in Santa Barbara.
Really?
Like literally at the what's it called? The Golden Globes last week. Like everybody didn't show up. There's a lot of people who live in Santa Barbara, and nobody could leave Santa Barbara. It's been flooding everywhere. I think in a day we had like 10 inches of rain in one day, which for California just has like maybe never happened, like in this part of California. So there's rivers that never existed before. Like, it's wild. It's just it's a madhouse. But now it's blowing like 30 miles an hour wind. It's just been a freaking craziness out here.
All right, so I'm doing a build just with the Saber Sim projections for FanDuel for now, and see what with the new Milwaukee stuff comes up. So not surprisingly, Drew Holiday, and then it's getting the 82% Jordan Nwora.
Yeah.
Not to mention, but they don't know his starter or anything like that. But
oh wow, interesting with the Nwora.
Bobby Portis, Javon Carter. But I think one of the reasons why it's because it has Jordan Nwora listed as 0.0% ownership. So if I instead listed it by score, yeah, you still get some Nwora though.
Well, I mean, so just to give, like, part of the problem is, and it was an ugly game, but like there's going to be some ugly games without Giannis in general. Nwora, like, I still have always believed in this guy's talent, but like his minutes are going to range from like 5 to 30. Like he's really, it could be 30, it could be 5. I really don't know, and I assume that he won't start. If he's starting, just play him. But I mean, he had that game against Miami where he put up 27 the other day when we had a similar situation. Then he had 0 minutes in the next game. Like, it's really hard to know what Nwora is going to do. So I wouldn't play him at any ownership unless he's starting.
Marky, I'll tell you, I'm good, but I'm not good. Not that good. I mean, I can get all the slates and all the whatever and the LOLs and all this stuff. I can't be ready on 5 minutes notice for the
Boston Charlotte. I'll throw it out there
for the top. For the top MVP on the FanDuel Showdown Boston Charlotte slate.
Oh my God, I would get creative and FanDuel just play Tatum, or I mean, like,
you stumped me.
FanDuel. That's bullshit. Like Showdown.
That's I'm not going to.
Well, I'm going to try to answer because we ran out of time. But like,
you got 1 minute.
Yeah, well, I was trying to say it. I think that on DraftKings, I would play like Robert Williams at captain. If I had
saying MVP, so they should refer to FanDuel.
On FanDuel, it's got to be. It's got to be Tatum, or I really don't know how you don't play Tatum. I guess.
There you go, Marky. You got 30 seconds.
I gotta go. Unfortunately, I've got a call in 15 minutes. Do you want to run through the rest of this NBA slate?
I'm not quite ready, but
okay, yeah, whenever you're ready.
But you go for it. You go through
okay,
it. So by the time you leave, I'll be ready. So it's perfect.
Okay.
And I know you talked about that before, about like maybe like doing some split shifts or whatever, where sometimes you for the first half hour and I do the second or whatever. Like in general. So yeah, you can. Why don't you go through, since you're a little better prepared right now?
Yeah.
You go through it and take questions, and when you leave, by then I'll probably have projections updated. And I'm here anyway.
I wish I had more things to talk about other than what I mentioned. I think that the spend ups are interesting. Like I think that Curry. That's really where I'm having my conversation, because I'm going to play Utah, Minnesota as a game stack. I'm left with a couple spots, and it's the guys I'm considering are Curry. I do like Donovan Mitchell, and I think that the ownership will be reasonably low on both those guys. Curry and Mitchell, I think, are really, really solid plays. I do like Clarkson as a mid-range spend, but he's in that game stack I like. I think McCollum is a large field type of play that you could spend up for. But my favorite spend ups are Curry and Mitchell at first look. I don't mind Siakam. I don't mind anybody in that Toronto-New York game. But I personally am going to either use Curry and the game stack of Utah, Minnesota, or I'm going to use Mitchell with the game stack of Utah, Minnesota. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do. And for Minnesota, I'm actually playing 4 guys. I'm playing Gobert, Edwards, Russell. I'm sorry, Gobert, Edwards. No, I'm only playing 3 guys. Let me just look at my line.
I was going to say, if you were playing 4 Minnesotas, including like 3, like if you were playing like 4 like higher price Minnesotas, that's not usually your style.
Yeah, it's 3. It's actually 3 from Minnesota that I have, and 4 from Minnesota.
Are you in Minnesotas?
Prince is in my lineup, yeah.
Okay.
And I do like I like Clarkson, Kessler, and Beasley on the run back. So basically getting a lot of exposure to that game. It's not a very creative slate, I guess, but that is what I like the best, and I think it's got a good shot. Oh, LaMelo is on the other slate. I don't even know what we're talking about. LaMelo's not on DraftKings.
Too late. LaMelo
on. What are you playing? What is that going on? League of Legends?
Yeah, so this is why I'm just like sharing my whole thing. I already talked to you. League of Legends is already over. I got 3rd and 500. This hasn't graded yet. Yeah, and then this is like just everything that's going on. You know what I mean? Gotcha. But it's like kind of cool. I don't know. People like to tune on this. They see like the currently winning to go up, down, whatever.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Yeah, dude. There's at one point I was cashing for $1 million in the DK Millie Maker.
Oh man, that's when it gets really fun.
But not really. I mean, it was like a 3-game slate. And it was like midway through the 2nd game. I had like, you know what I mean? Like it was, and I didn't have anybody in the 3rd. You know, it was. How
fortunate are we to have such good games so early on in the NFL? By the way,
amazing, right?
Yeah, unbelievable.
We had 5 games yesterday. All 5 over the weekend. Whatever. All of them were overs.
Right. It was awesome. Yeah. And all in some, like even this Niner game was like, what was it? A 1-point game at halftime. Like every game was competitive.
I'd like to talk about 2 things. So first of all, I mean, it's amazing how chaos theory works or whatever. So Darius Slayton, I mean, like if he should be, if I don't know if you watched that whole game.
Yeah, the drop.
Oh my God! If the Giants didn't hang on in that game, Slayton would have killed him. I mean, like
that was the worst.
It's amazing what happens, you know. And the other thing is that you weren't here for this discussion regarding the I keep saying the Eagles, but it's not the Eagles, it's Jaguars. I think of Peterson still with the Eagles. So I love Twitter. I love my Twitter feed because they just like pound people. And then when like it doesn't turn out that their take was right, they just disappear. You know? And then they went out. So when Peterson like had the audacity to punt on 4th down in the 2nd quarter when they were down 27-0, like, well, that was their one chance. That's it. That's why you suck. That's why the game's passed you by and the whole thing, right? And then like when it got to 4th and 1 on the 50 or whatever in that final drive, which everybody obviously knew that what was going to happen, whatever.
Yeah.
But they went and called a timeout, and the announcer, they just got to run that right away. And then freaking Siege, and I love Siege, okay, but he's like one of the worst, and he's tweeting right in there. Could be the worst timeout in the history of the NFL, and this. How do you call timeout? And he came out with, I'm telling you, I'm going to talk about this for a while. Listen, I'm going to talk about it for a while because they're probably going to lose this next week, and people are going to forget about it. Whatever. It was literally listen, he was known for that Philly special in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a different thing, but this was one of the greatest conceived plays, like in I can remember, just because of the way it all happened. Remember, this whole season, that Jalen Hurts, quarterback sneak play where everybody gets pushed across the line is basically like unstoppable.
Right.
Like to the point where I've been saying that next year it's probably going to be outlawed. Like to let people like push the guy like that from that formation. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I think it succeeded like 99% of the time. So he calls a timeout, and this is like they're down a point on 4th and 1, and he lines up in the freaking Jalen Hurts, sneak play, and everybody knows it's coming, except they do the freaking end around to Etienne for like 20 yards.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
How sick is that?
Yeah.
And then like I guess that's why they called timeout, Siege. I guess it's wanted to just make sure that they knew what they were doing there. So that was definitely some good shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
I think Dallas is going to kill him.
Yeah.
But I also, and I think that it's like the best bet. Like it was my favorite bet of the week.
I know.
But again, like it always scares me. Weird Tampa Bay stuff, like a team that I don't think is good. But I mean, there's still a lot of like experience, and for whatever that means. And you have like 4 guys who at one point have been like a top 5 receiver in the NFL, or 3 guys on your team who have been a top 5 receiver in the NFL for like Julio Jones. You know what I mean? It just scares me a little bit, but. Overall, I think that Dallas is a
dude. My betting takes were legendary this week. So I had Minnesota against the Giants, that lost. I had Baltimore. I deserved better in that Baltimore game, but the Ravens, they lost. And then
they covered. They covered.
Oh, I thought they were 6.5.
No, they were when I got them at 9.5.
Oh, then I did win.
But I bet them on Friday. So I don't know what it was.
For those people that follow my MMA bets for this week, okay. Oh, this was good. So now, granted, there was a bunch of 5-1s and 6-1s in there. So there were 12 fights. I bet 12, and I suggested that I would go 0-12. The first fight got canceled, so I got a refund there, and went 0-11 on the rest of the wagers in the MMA.
Like literally, that's like you can't do that if you try, man.
I mean, if you bet 6-1s, you can, but and there were a couple of close ones that where I could have cashed.
It's hard to lose 11,
but 0-11. So you got to embrace that. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna, you're gonna spout off, and you gotta do whatever you have to, and you're gonna post that you win in League of Legends, and whatever. Yeah, you got to throw some to the, got to throw some virgins to the fire. If you want to get really lucky in these showdown slates, sometimes you have to sacrifice. And that was the sacrifice. But I will tell you this, who else I got to kind of apologize. Who I really just went off on after that showdown slate came in? I was just so happy. I spent about like an hour, maybe an hour and a half on State Kings yesterday, just making sure that all my packages got posted, that everything was up there, because they've been sometimes poofing my packages, like because they had wrong times or something.
Yeah, if you don't put the right time in, you're dead.
I know. So I went, I literally just double checked everything. I triple checked everything. And I went, and you see how I attacked that freaking Discord. And I'm like, okay, this is all in. Huh. And then when they cashed, I'm like, okay, I posted that State Kings. Dude, only 7% was taken.
Yeah.
I mean, I yelled at all of them like live. Like, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like, you know how Showdown works. I'm playing MMA. You can't pick and choose which of these things to go. They like sold out of like the Seattle game somehow, but for whatever reason didn't have faith at the Miami. You know what I mean? It's all freaking Showdown's randomness, man. I mean, you got to be in there. I mean,
I think that honestly, some of it is just people aren't starting to wake that time on Sunday. I really do.
You know what? You could be right.
And also like on the West Coast, it's early. You know what I mean? It's 10 o'clock.
I guess so.
So I think that is part of it.
I guess,
but it is pretty funny. I was actually happy that more people didn't, because I was happy. You get to keep more.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before I get? I'm sorry to have to run. I had to call at 10:15. I didn't know what time. I got confused with the live. And I haven't slept all night, and between birthday parties and being with my kid, it just literally has been a crazy weekend. So anything else before? Oh, Showdown takes for tonight. Sheets in any. I haven't looked too much into tonight, but I know I know the game obviously. I don't have like a really, really bold take for the NFL tonight. I think that my favorite get weird captains would be guys like Dalton Schultz. I think, get weird with maybe Noah Brown or T.Y. Hilton. I think playing both running backs from Dallas is very viable. And I prefer Fournette over White. Those are sort of my general outlook takes. And I do think Mike Evans has a big game here, even though I like the Cowboys to win. At least one of Evans or Godwin, but I like Evans a little bit better, and I always like Godwin better. So take that.
I'm probably going to go over this a little bit later, but I'm going to reiterate my take on the Showdown, as I did with every one of the Showdown slates I analyzed yesterday. In terms of what we talked about with respect to playoff football, I wouldn't expect too much from the $100 guys in general in a playoff game. I would stick to the dudes that have a shot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that certainly is the case with 2-game slates and 3-game slates. Yeah, Showdown you can get a little trickier, but I think in the end, you don't want too much P Brown exposure, so to speak.
Right.
These Showdown slates. However, I mean, I certainly don't mind a lot of these different skill guys. To be captain, and I would definitely screw around. And my other take would be that my main decision in these things is how much money to leave on the table, because you have to leave something. And I just kind of made it up. I think 49.2 is going to be my cap, and just kind of see how we roll. So those are my two little things. And the other thing, by the way, it's interesting that the Miami game is the one that we cashed on, because I spent a little time on that. And listen, when we've talked about this in Showdown slates a lot, whenever you have a game script or a game with a really big spread, or a huge total, on the other side, the field always plays just one way.
Right.
And I said, listen, you have Miami with a 15-team total. So you know what, people, and Buffalo with a 26, they're playing this it's going to be 20-0. But what if it's the opposite? Why can't it be 28-24?
Absolutely.
And if it's that, then you want all this stuff,
You made this point really early in the season, and I swear, if you want to know how to play Showdown slates, Sheets obviously has done really well with it. Take the last 2 minutes of what Sheets just said and listen to that. That's exactly right. You leave money on the table, come up with a way of doing that. Don't you waste the guys who are not valuable in the postseason games. You know what I mean? Yeah. And really realize how the field is treating the game, and they like you say, they overreact. They act like if a team's favored by 9, they act like they're favored by 30.
Right. Right. But they'll make the builds that have them winning by 16, but they won't make the builds have them winning by 2.
Exactly.
Right.
and that's just as in the range of outcomes. But I think that's really sharp, Sheets. I really do. Anyway, guys, I hope everybody has a great MLK day, and good luck to everybody. I will be around in Discord answering any questions and stuff that comes up if we get anybody out in the NBA. Still got a couple hours till that stuff kicks off.
So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to leave the stream running again for a while. I have to take a little bit of break. I'll be back in a little bit to update the projections for the NBA slate.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to go over my thing, and then I'll kind of leave it running. And then if I have to leave, I'll leave, and just.
Well, if I can get off my call, I'll jump back on in with you.
Yeah, so it's going to be up here the whole time. So you ever want to pop in, just kind of pop in. This
Perfect. I appreciate that, man.
You'll have the DraftKings thing up here to look at. I'm just gonna, obviously, I'm gonna mute myself and take my ugly face out. But everybody can just look at this for a while, and then I'll be back probably in about a half an hour. But what I'll do is I'll put up here. This is what I did yesterday. I put a little when I'll be back. So I'll be back at, and then if there's a sweat, I'll be back for that too. 2 p.m. for updated NBA
Okay, I'll jump back on with you then.
Day sheets, and then yeah, I don't know. Then tennis, maybe NFL game preview. All right, whatever. So I'll be back in a little bit.
All right, awesome. All right, well, good luck to everybody, and I'll jump out. I'll try to jump back on with you.
Yep.
See you guys.
All right, everybody. If anybody's still around, I just updated the NBA sheets. I just put them up there. I just need a minute because I have to post my State Kings for the NBA slate for the FanDuel. I completely screwed up. I missed the DraftKings fadeaway, so I'm in like the secondary one, paying $5K for first. So obviously that's going to win. But I did get into the big one. I have to make a big lineup for that. So let me just post at least the FanDuel stuff on State Kings. How many did I play here? So I played. What did I do? I played 50 in the clutch shot. Is it 50 in the shot and 1 in the monster? I did not play the monster. I did 50 in the shot and 1 in the monster. So let's put that up. 50 in the shot, 1 in the monster. So let's post those first on State Kings. NBA FanDuel. Where is my FanDuel? NBA FanDuel shot. NBA lottery. 40 entries. 25K for first. 280. And screen name. That's a 230. Good update by State Kings, making sure that the time looks correct. 2:30 p.m. State Kings. Boom. Excellent. And we'll do one more create package. FanDuel Monster. 1 entry. 1 entry. And then this is going to be 50K for first, I believe. No, it's 25K for first, I think. Let me just see. 25K for first. And that's going to be 555. Same time. Boom. Now let's just check and make sure that all these things are posted. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay, stakes currently listed. We have FanDuel Monster, 26 minutes to go. MMA Lottery, 40 entry shot, good. It's actually 30K for first, but who cares? Mega 8's main slate is good. That's for how long? That's an hour, for 56 minutes from now. Mega 8, fadeaway main slate, 5K for first, shut out of the bigger one. I disclosed that. That's all good. And I will post the hockey. You know what? Let me post the hockey ones now. Actually, we don't have time. Have to remember though. All right, not a big deal. So let's first let's see how we're doing here. So we are first in this big one here because we really went after this first game. Okay, as you'll see. I mean, I played almost nobody from. You'll see this, but almost nobody from the Milwaukee game, which I said I was going to try to do. And we'll see. I mean, we got Brogdon with 25 fantasy points at the half. We got McDaniels, 24 fantasy points at the half. Derek White, 19 fantasy points at the half. So this, you know what I mean? Like I've won playing worse. Let's put it that way. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what these guys run it up. Let them go to overtime, whatever it is. And maybe all these Milwaukee guys bust. It's definitely possible. Okay, let's pull this back up. Stories have many sides. Rate by winning again. The truth finds its way through the camera's lens. And that's pretty much all that's going on. The hockey, a couple of points in the hockey. Let's see who's scoring the hockey. Oh, there you go. Krejci, Pasternak. All right, that's good. That's a good start. Just take a look. Oh, this is nice. You know what? Would be nice. It would be nice if I put a goalie who was actually playing. That's pretty good.
What if I want to change my plan?
That's it's really strong play, Sheets. Playing a goalie that wasn't even playing. That's excellent. Good job. Excellent work. Hey, can't get everything, you know. Can't get projections updated, go live, play all the sports, post on State Kings without screwing up something. So that's that. It's part of the risk. Can I tell you? Let me see what's going on with the horse racing, and then we'll get into these projections. Oh, so we get to root here. So let's see. We gotta sweat this. We'll sweat. We're gonna sweat the replay of this. We're gonna be rooting. What we're gonna be rooting for over here. Hold on. We gotta be rooting for over here. Are the 10 or the 11? They're both pretty long. Actually, one's like 5-1, one's like 15, 20-1. If we can get one of these things home, we're going to be happy. All right, so the 11's out there. Don't like that he's struggling to keep up, which is not good. So he's probably dead. So the 10 looks okay. See him, it's kind of like nestled in there in the purple. Oh, just a bad step. So I think that we're all dead. See, 10, I think literally just broke his leg and is back into the field. So this is a quick sweat. Maybe 11, I don't know. 11's hanging in there. I said 10 was a long shot. Yeah, so this is not looking good. Like if the 11 were going to win, you'd think he would go right past the 3 here. That doesn't look like it's happening. This 12 horse is just opening up, and it's probably just light years the best, and it's going to be so. Not too worried about it. Hey, we'll give him a run though. Let's see. Want to straighten out a little bit? Try to get there with the 11, maybe. See how his nose is all like crooked though? Can't get straight. All right, now he's straight. Maybe he can get there. Maybe he can get him down. Nah, it's not going to happen. Really low level racing. Didn't quite get there. Okay. So let's get the updated NBA projections for the main slate up on the board. Okay. Okay, NBA main slate is on the board. 21 assists. One thing I don't see. One more time, 21 assists. Oh, I was about to say I don't see too much Milwaukee. That's because it's the wrong slate. All right, so on DraftKings, it looks as though Taurean Prince is the value at 6x. 3K 6x is not bad. And then you get this kind of like fishy value, you know, like Precious 5.5, X. That's not that great at that price. Delon Wright. So it looks as though the two really big plays, and again, this is the way I look at it, when I try to analyze my sheets, is I like to, again, when I sort by points per dollar, look for high salary guys with good points per dollar, or conversely, when I sort by sheets value score, look for cheapos up here. So Anthony Edwards race to be extremely strong. Okay. And this is probably, this is the best play I have. Then the next guy I would probably try to want to play is someone like Bam, maybe Kuzma, Jared Allen, 5,900. That looks really, really strong. And Rudy Gobert. So it looks as though if I were going to build a hand build lineup, which I'm going to do in a second, it would start with Anthony Edwards. I'm going to get this. Hold on. Hello. Good. Yeah. I'd rather take that call than just have it keep ringing in my ear. So we're going to build this hand build lineup on DraftKings, and it's going to start with Edwards and Allen. Those are definitely going to be the two plays that I'm going to start here with. So if people ask me what my core is, those would be the two top plays. Anthony Edwards and Jared Allen. Those would be my two top plays on the slate. Now let's look at FanDuel, and then we'll build both. One day you might realize pull up FanDuel, because FanDuel is much different because FanDuel has the Milwaukee game. So let's see what that looks like. And then we'll build that big lineup as well. So FanDuel, again, let's do it the same thing. Let's first rate by sheets value score, though. And you'll see, I mean, Drew Holiday, strong play. Anthony Edwards, again, strong play. Kristoff, Bobby Portis, all these are really, really good mid-range plays. I don't think you have to go play Morant. I don't think you have to spend down half that much. But I don't even think you have to play Curry if you want to know the truth. I mean, you could, but you stick with Drew, Edwards, Portis, Ayton. That's an interesting play. And Bam. I think and Brook Lopez is a good play too, but he's competing with these other centers. So we're gonna come back to that then. We're gonna come back and do the hand-built lineups for the big ones. But first, let's go to SaberSim and see what we got. And we're gonna do this live. Let's do NBA first. I mean DraftKings first.
It all starts with one small click through your phone that can change everything.
Just 1 second.
Get started at 4games.com. The in-laws are on their way, and I need to somehow get dinner together. Time to card it. Farm fresh chicken, organic veggies, and that cab from Sonoma.
So here's what we're doing again. This is what we'll do. Let's change the. They have starters yet in Milwaukee. Oh, well, just DraftKings first. So DraftKings is already up there. So let's just do it again, just so you see what we do. So I'll upload this to SaberSim. We'll put this in, and then we'll build, and let's see what we got.
Your order ships discreetly to your door for free. Real results closer than ever. Just go to 4hims.com.
All right, so like I said, Anthony Edwards. Ooh, Kevin Love. Where'd that come from? 60% Kevin Love. That is very interesting. And a big bunch of Jose Alvarado. I kind of like it in MME because I'm not expecting it. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. A whole bunch of Edwards, Love, Alvarado, guys like that. So let's just go ahead and let's just make sure that I don't have like incredible amount of stats, which I don't. So I'm probably just going to go with that. But again, so you asked who my ownership is in. It's in exactly those guys. Can't be more direct than that. Edwards, Love, Prince, Alvarado. These are the highest owned. Only 27% Jared Allen, which is very interesting. I didn't expect that. But I'm almost 100% going to get that in my. I guess Mobley must be out, right? That's got to be. McCollum is not out. I don't know. I'm getting all this Alvarado with McCollum not out. Whatever. I presume Mobley is out. No, Mobley's in. How are all these guys popping so much? Whatever. We'll see. Better not to ask. Let's go to FanDuel first. Yeah, let's build the FanDuels. Let me just make sure that this is exactly what I do have in my DraftKings.
Today, we're remembering the man who led the civil rights movement, whose life was
In the
marked by social
DraftKings,
justice.
NBA.
He changed the world and the course of countless lives as well. And Smitty, you were honored in Memphis on MLK Day.
We are going to make sure these guys are playing, but why is 94% Edwards? That's not right.
What did that mean?
So we got to change. I actually have 82% here, so let's change that.
A chance to be in Memphis to accept that award and just get a chance to say thank you.
And people ask me from time to time, do you limit your exposures? My answer is usually I do not.
I thank the Dr. King entire family because the sacrifices they had to do. And
I usually don't.
Martin Luther King did was allow all of us to have this opportunity, especially myself, to be able to be here.
Oh, this is annoying. Okay, so this is what's happening.
All these different things that everybody else got a chance.
This is the ultimate tilt because I didn't get into the fadeaway.
His imprint from a grassroots.
So I know that one of these fadeaways was going to win.
Stay with us as our
I
studio.
put on stakings like just in case it won. I didn't want people to get mad at me for not posting it. It's really not a great tournament when it's only $5K for first. It requires too much. Excuse me. Okay, so that's that. Let's do the FanDuel builds. Then we'll go back and check on our progress again. not NFL. We'll talk about NFL in a minute. FanDuel.
Good? Yeah, I'm good.
There's one more thing I have to do. I have to late swap
It's 11.
the 230s with the updated projections. So we got to do that. I don't have that much exposure there anyway, so it's not going to make too much of a difference. But all right, so NBA, let's go. And we're just using the same FanDuel projections. And for MME, I'm literally just going to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Saberson build, make a couple of tweaks, and just roll with it. And then we're going to hand build the main. Drew Holiday, Portis, Shamet. Yeah, these guys all look reasonable enough. Make sure the stack types are okay. All right, I don't want 4 from one team, so we'll get rid of that.
Because it's powered by the most potent source of energy there is.
Even if it's from Milwaukee, I don't want 4.
This is the Lexus.
So that's fine.
Inspired by, created for, and powered by you.
So we're going to, for now, we're going to put these in FanDuel.
My basketball journey began when I was 3 years old. I've been really blessed within the game, and the game has given me so much.
We're going to do the FanDuel. Feel free to ask whatever questions you want. I mean, honestly, I should be able to get to
I
everything.
literally have held every job in the industry.
And the other thing, I am going to have to check the lobbies to see when these tenant slates start. I just honestly don't know.
And my journey brought me here.
Presuming 9 o'clock again, but we're going to have to figure that out. K. Dotton is too cheap. Yeah, I mean, he's cheap. Too cheap. We'll see.
American Express halftime report with Amex. It's never a
All right, so before we check tennis, we have to go and late swap the remaining lineups in the early slate to count for the late projections here. So so Noura is not started, but he has a projection. Okay, so let's first do this. We're going to go to live. We're going to edit entries, NBA. This is what you do, and you save this file, which is the entries you have as of now. Go back into SaberSim. We will update these projections. Again, we're not too fancy. We'll use the SaberSim one, which is just fine. And let's do entries. We're going to put this in. Boom. And we are going to late swap. And we're going to late swap them all. I don't know how much is really going to change.
It's an 11-point game already. The Celtics hit the gas Saturday.
And now we're just kind of ready to go. Those Turner's in. Okay, that's a big deal. Let's download them.
And obviously try to hit the first.
Then we'll upload them.
Huge, but I think also for the Hornets, they gonna have to understand is they don't play well in third quarter. So especially against the Boston Celtics, the mellow ball, try to get yourself to the free throw line.
And
he will definitely have a better hand.
Okay, so what we just did is we late swapped the 2:30 game for the slate, which is already going. And let's just see like what that did. So, oh, good. They gave me credit for the LOL stuff. So, like this thing, the Slam Jam. Let me see if this gave me anybody new. No, I still have Matherin as the remaining Milwaukee guy there. Okay. Yeah. So we're all caught up to date with the early slate, right? Late swap. We're all good. We didn't do the early slate with FanDuel. We posted State Kings. Just for fun. Let's see what people bought. And then we'll build the – actually, we have to do this now. We got to build our FanDuel lineup. And this is exactly how I do it, the hand build stuff. All right, so edit lineup. We're going to start all the way from the beginning with this one. All right, clear all. All right. LaMelo. That's good. So let's pull up FanDuel. The FanDuel sheets. I got too many Excel. You know, I would have to close all these in a minute and just reopen them all. Actually, you know, let me do this now. Can't believe I'm doing this now. I am going to do it now. Okay, so we're going to close all of the Excel spreadsheets. Good. LaMelo. Another one. It's good. Maybe we have a sweat there. Maybe it won't be for a couple of hours though, because the other game's just starting. All right, so first we'll do NBA FanDuel because that's the first one up. All right, so as I was mentioning, the main play is definitely Drew. That's for sure. And it looks as though I want to build with all of this stuff if I can. So we're talking about Holiday. You know, I don't really need Edwards. I mean, Curry, if you want to know the truth. Curry, Edwards, Portis, Ayton. That's a good way to start. So when I say Curry, Edwards, Portis, Ayton, let's see what that looks like. Not Curry. Go Drew. Edwards, where do we want to put him? Put Edwards in the small forward for now. Actually, we're going to put him in shooting guard. I think it's harder to find a spot for him of the shooting guard thing. So shooting guard, I presume he's playing, but we'll have to check that out. So Holiday, Edwards, and then I said Portis. And then Ayton at center. This is pretty cool, you know. This is Ayton. I think is going to be somewhat. Let's see. I think he's going to be somewhat low owned. So I think that's a good play. This is a good way to start. So let's now go and see what the point per dollar looks are. What do I have? 7 minutes? See, there's nobody I really need, and I'm getting them all. So I guess, you know, Matherin, sure, makes sense. Grayson Allen, I hate playing Grayson Allen. So you know what? I don't have to. How about that? But I need a point guard. So let's play D'Angelo Russell. So play Russell with Edwards. Can we do that? Yeah, we can play the two of them together. Now it would be nice to get a Utah guy, but I don't see any of them. Play Kessler, or I could play Conley. I don't think I can play Markkanen. I don't think I can afford it. If I played Markkanen here, game time decision, I could probably do this actually. 4,700 each. And let's go point per dollar here. I mean, got to make sure he's playing, obviously, but then we can play Grayson Allen if we want. Pat Connaughton. Who's shooting guard eligible? Oh, boy. I have to go back and play. I mean, I could play Grayson. Who would I rather play? Grayson Allen or Benedict or Connaughton? Well, if I played Benedict, I might not be able to afford other guys, right? Then I'm at 4,300 a man. You see, this Lowry play is going to start to annoy me a little bit. I think you save a little money and you play Kuzma. I think that's the idea. Then you might be able to get all this stuff in. Well, not quite. So even the Kuzma play, Plumlee with 2 consecutive field goals. I guess we are going to have to play Grayson Allen if we play this way. Or Connaughton. Well, I'm not sure which one to play. Unless we go back on our D'Angelo Russell idea. play Conley. That's what I can do. I could play Conley here instead of Russell. And then all this stuff works, right? Right. Then we can actually play real players. I think. Now can we play Kuzma? I keep wanting to play Kuzma for some reason. Boom. And then 49.50 a man, I could probably get away with this. Because I could play. But then who do I play at power forward? I mean, all these are just too expensive. It's so funny how these power forwards became so expensive. What do I have to play? DiVincenzo? I don't want to do that. What do I have? 4 minutes? No problem. Oh, I can play Kuzma. Duh. I can play Kuzma in the power forward. Aha. Kuzma in the power forward position. And then we're going to play this Connaughton business and whatever. Connaughton and Grayson Allen. Does that work? Yep. I guess that's what we're going to do. Connaughton, Grayson Allen. And there you have it. Double check. Looks good to me. Boom.
Welcome to MetRide. So you had been for years. Any issues? No, the service has been great.
Now let's go and that's going to lock in like 3 minutes, which is nice. And then we will move on to FanDuel. I mean, the DraftKings. So what we're doing here. So this is the live thing over here. So where are we at with this? So we're now back in the third place in the Slam Jam here, which is still obviously reasonable. What else do we have going here? We have a couple of cashes here. The fadeaway is that one hockey lineup. Okay. Let's see what's going on with these turkeys. All right, so not bad, right? I mean, Brogdon's still doing well. He didn't come back in the game yet. I hope his face isn't hurt that bad. McDaniels is just killing it. He's doing great. Plumlee is starting to get some steam. I mean, obviously, overtime is best result, but we'll see. Like, who do these guys have that's like so much better than me? Robert Williams, that great of a play? Oh, he's got Tatum. Okay, so that means that doesn't have that, but anybody that great over here. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so let's go and pull up the DraftKings lineup. And then I promised I would post the hockey. And I still have to do the football for later. And it's nice to, let's just make sure that Edwards still questionable. I mean, we're just going to have to go with this one. Okay, so as I was saying, let's clear the field and build our big lineup. And as I mentioned, it's going to be Edwards and Allen. And either Gobert, Garland, or Bam. So Edwards, I think Edwards and Allen are the two main ones. So let's put those in first. We'll put in Edwards. Put him at shooting guard first. Edwards, Allen. Gobert questionable? That's interesting. Well, if he's out, obviously we got to be on top of Naz Reid. But for now, we'll put Jared Allen in the center. And then let's see if there's any must-haves as far as point per dollar plays. I mean, Taurean Prince is fine, but I don't think that we need to do this. So let's see if we can't build. Oh, McDaniels. Let's go. Jaden McDaniels, career day. Looks good to me. So Bam, I don't think we're going to do. Garland is possible. Russell again is possible. Valanciunas is possible. We have Allen already at center, though. Najee Marshall is not a bad play. So D'Angelo Russell is not a bad play. Clarkson is not a bad play. Mobley's not terrible. So let's take a look at some ownership here. We got Siakam at 10K, very low owned. Curry or Randall. It's not an easy middling build. I mean, there's not that many great 5900s on this board here, to fill this stuff out. Malik Beasley's not bad. Keep coming back to D'Angelo Russell, though. I mean, if you do this, then we're probably game stacking this, right? And we definitely want to do something with Utah. And I like playing guys like Beasley and Clarkson, but I don't want to play them both. Let's see what this looks like on my board here. It is market. It looks to be the best. But Clarkson, if we can get him in, that would be obviously much appreciated. It's going to be hard, though. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Why is Conley never gives me any love here for a projection? I guess he doesn't score 30 that often, so we'll put in Clarkson. Now we're 54-75 a man, which is fine, and we have this game stacked a little bit. And then we can go back to, since we're playing someone from Cleveland, we can go back and play Marshall at 5,700. So we're building a nice little middling build here. And we're game stacking this. So I wonder if there's anybody else from either New Orleans, Utah, Minnesota, or Cleveland. We have Jared Allen. That looks good. Back to Kessler. I mean, 5,100. I think this is interesting. So now we have 2x2 there. So now we're kind of like locked. But then we're back to Alvarado at 4K. But he's not really the guy you want to stack with. Boy, if you play Valanciunas, that would be nice, but you really can't. And you don't want to play a third guy, I think, from Cleveland. Actually, we only have two. To play Mobley, we could probably get away with that. This is not what we expected, though, but that's okay. Play Mobley here, and then you're left with a $4,800. What do you get? Beasley for that or something like that? You get Monty Morris if you fiddle around, maybe. Jaden McDaniels, that's not a bad play. That's more Minnesota. Yeah, let's do it. I guess that's what we're going to do. I guess this is the deal. We're just going to stack.
I never expected to have this much hair in my 50s.
Yeah, I think we're just going to stack all this stuff.
I feel very confident.
Yep, so we're Minnesota, 2 Utahs, 3 Minnesotas actually, 2 Utahs, 2 Cleveland, 1 New Orleans, and I think we're good. One thing I'm worried about now, I can always change this, is this Conley play over here. So I'll have to think about whether I want to keep Conley. I'll see how the rest of the lineup is doing as far as that goes. Okay. Let's see how we're doing now. Hey, we're back in first in this thing. I mean, it is an illusion because I don't have anybody in the later game, but still, I mean, these guys are doing very well, right? You have, I mean, I can't really ask for more performance. I mean, you have to think LaMelo's going to pick it up. I can't worry about this, right? I don't know, Brian. You like Gabe Vincent over Conley? I mean, at that point, I honestly just have to look at the projection. Let's see if it's close. What, for FanDuel, you mean? Let's just take a look. For Gabe Vincent, I'm getting him with 23 fantasy points on FanDuel, and Conley at 27. So that's just too much of a gap for me. I can change. Listen, I might update the projections a little bit later, but yeah, that's just a little too much for me. I need LaMelo to do a little better here. It's kind of annoying that these other guys, the McDaniel's having a career day, but I can't quite get. And I'm getting Plumlee to do well, and PJ, everybody's doing fine, but LaMelo has to get his ass in gear, so to speak. Oh, you're talking DK? All right, let's take a look at DK. This is DK. So Conley on DK. I'm getting him at 27 fantasy points, and Gabe Vincent I'm only getting with 23. I think for me, again, that's why I do like to use the projections. Oh my God! So LaMelo's coming out now. Is it 4 fouls? Is that what happened? Just pull around. That is some free throw by freaking by Plumlee. Yeah, and honestly, Brian, I mean, it's if it were close, I'd listen. It's just too much, for me, at least for me. Clay, I hate to say this, but I literally just went through it for both FanDuel and for DraftKings. Why don't you just seriously like rewind 15 minutes in this? I went through exactly how I hand built both my FanDuel big buy-in and my DraftKings one. I mean, essentially, what you're going to want to do is you look at these two columns, right? And it's the same type of thing. Like, so this is not a substitute. I still think that Saberson probably does a better job. Okay, but this is, I think, a good way to do it. Okay, if you don't want to do optimizers, the first thing you do, for me, is you first sort by points per dollar, like say on DraftKings. And the reason why you do that first is to see what type of slate you have. Like if you have multiple guys that are projecting above 6x, then it's probably a stars and scrubs slate. But if you don't have more than like one guy above 6x, and that guy might be a little fishy, whatever, then it's probably not a stars and scrubs slate. Then it's probably a middling type slate. So that's the first thing you do with these sheets. The second thing is there are two different ways to look at it. It's very similar, but there's, I guess, a little bit of a subtlety. Is two types of plays. One, when you sort by point per dollar, you want guys that are in the top whatever, ranked by point per dollar, that are highly salaried. Okay, so it's interesting, right? You want a guy that could put up a good point per dollar projection and also be a highly projected guy. Okay. So when I'm looking at, I see, okay, these top point per dollar plays, Edwards at 8,300, Mark Williams, wow, big dunk. 8,300 is a really, really strong play. And then you look at like the next highest projected, highest salary, like Najee Marshall, good play. D'Angelo Russell, good play. These guys that are highly salaried, but Jared Allen, probably the best play, right? That's why I started when I did my DraftKings lineup build with Allen and with Edwards. Okay, Brogdon, missed rebound. Robert Williams missed. Mark Williams rebound.
What's up, Sheets?
Hey, and then the other thing, just to finish this point to Clay, is that if you do it the other way, if you go to Sheets value score and then look for the cheapest guy with this, like a good Sheets value score, like guys, and the same guys sort of pop up, like Edwards, good play. On DraftKings, like maybe Gobert, maybe Brunson or something like that. So that's the way you do it. And then you just kind of build out. And what I do is I build out like without worrying about what teams they're on. And then when I get to the end, I'm like, okay, so how can I now correlate? How can I just sacrifice a point or two and get guys from the same team, or maybe sacrifice a point or two and get guys from the opposing team? So those are like, two things you do. And you do that with both DraftKings and with FanDuel. And what I do is I also run Saber Sims just to kind of just make sure I'm close. But I always build by hand for the bigger buy-ins. So what I ended up doing, Bobby, in the DraftKings is I basically went to 2 games. I went to I had the Minnesota game everywhere, right? And then I used the Cleveland game. And I put a couple of guys from each side in that. So those are the 2 games I'm kind of rooting for.
Yeah, I'm literally my big build hasn't changed. I'm going to play basically the entire Minnesota game. It also does give me the extra hour because if any of these guys are announced out, I want exposure to them. So it's like a double-edged thing. So I'm going to try to I'm just going to be overweight on that game entirely, and then we'll see what happens.
And now one thing I barely noticed, but everybody should obviously keep an eye on, is that if Gobert is out, and I presume Naz Reid would start. I mean, you just keep playing him. I mean,
yeah, you don't. We know one thing: if Naz Reid is starting and Gobert is not playing, you can't not play Naz Reid.
Yeah.
It's one of the rare times I start saying the words like lock.
Right.
But I mean, and the spend ups, like I like Edwards as a spend up. I like Clarkson as a spend up anyway, and you don't spend all the way up. And I'm using my other spend ups between Mitchell and Steph because I'm stuck with guards. I like playing Kessler today. So I want to play Kessler and Gobert.
I went with Kessler, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't usually play him, but he fit nicely.
Yeah. What do you got going left in the early slate?
The problem here is that I really went after this first game. So I mean, it looks okay, but Ball is busting. So yeah, listen, anything's possible. I kind of probably need overtime. Then I kind of faded the Milwaukee thing on DraftKings, and so it's probably not going to amount to anything. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You're getting a big ceiling game out of McDaniels, which is fun. McDaniels is like a career high, I think.
For Charlotte?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got 32 already. He's got 23 points. He got 20. His career high is 24. He's got 5 threes.
Wow. That's. I mean, for a 2-game slate, I have to. You did a pretty good job with the ownership. Staying in the 20s. You know what I mean? Like that's the best you can do.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm sure these Milwaukee guys are going to be really, really chalky.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough.
So we'll just see what happens. Right?
Yeah. And LaMelo always has big fourth quarters, so you have at least some hope there.
Yep.
So, yeah, I wish I had more to say about this slate. I'm doing one very specific thing, and I wish there was more to add in, but I don't think you have to do that. I think there's other good plays on this slate that may get overlooked. I don't think you're going to have a crazy amount of ownership on the top end spends. And that's kind of interesting because like it's not Christmas in the NBA, but big guys tend to go like ball out on these days.
Yeah.
It is a relevant day. So I do think getting a couple spend ups, like I'm playing Edwards and he's just in my lineups no matter what.
Yep.
But I think you can get at least one other spend up without doing anything crazy uncomfortable. And I like the Mitchell today, actually. If they're threatened is when I'm going to play Mitchell, I realized, like in general, like whenever I feel like Cleveland might have trouble in a game, I'm just going to take shots.
So what I think I'm going to do is like when is this last NBA game? Last NBA game on the slate that's the Minnesota game, and that game is at 4. So maybe what I'm going to do, maybe I'll come back at like depending on what I'm eating, like at 5:30 or so, and we'll see. Listen, we're all going to be sweating this to some degree, right? This game. So maybe I'll pop back in here because I also want to finalize some Showdown stuff. I want to talk about that a little bit. So that's I think I'm going to do, presuming my schedule works out. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm gonna make plans to come back here at like 5:30 or so, and with any luck, we'll be sweating your buy-in or something like that, which is kind of what I'd like to see.
Yeah,
you're gonna win today, right?
I don't know, man. I mean, I took a weird stand. I don't usually stack the Utah guys and not use Markkanen, and I'm doing it.
Like I said, man, it's so strange. It just might work.
So crazy, it just might work. Yeah,
it just might work.
And also, like, I do love that. Like, I hope that the noon thing locks and we don't have their starting lineups yet, because if we have these guys questionable, like literally, what if like there's like 7 players questionable? Like, what if like 3 of those guys are out? Then you're like playing with house money. You know what I mean? You got all the everything. What if Markkanen's out? You know what I mean? Like
he was out the other day.
Yeah, these guys are legit questionable, but I do think people try to play on this specific day next to Christmas or any
not to get canceled or anything, but I don't particularly think Lauri Markkanen cares too much about playing.
Markkanen is awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they just had a whole argument on a podcast that I love about Markkanen is a better player than like LeBron. You'd rather have Markkanen than LeBron right now if you're just a regular team and there's no name attachment. That's how good he is. Like he's been, I mean, and there's no fluke to it either. Like this guy has the pedigree. We thought he was going to be special when he came into the league, and then he had injuries, and this is who he is. He's going to be he's like a superstar, man. He's not a superstar. He's a star. But I'm not paying $9,400 for him today, personally, even though I don't mind it. Lauri out. What?
There it is, huh?
Is it already happening? Well, that just makes me like my stack even better. It doesn't do anything for me, really, because I had all those.
Same with me, right?
It doesn't. I have him as in still as a NBA.com as a projection, but maybe I think there's a legit chance he's out, and that makes Vanderbilt a good play, by the way, too.
Yeah, I got a questionable tag on him. I don't have him in any lineups. That's good.
Sexton might.
Obviously, if he is in fact out, then I'll have to come back with some updated stuff. So let's see let's see the breakdown of these games here.
You know what, I'm curious what the Hawks are going to do, because Okongwu has been like their best player, and now they've got Capella coming back.
No, it says Lauri Markkanen available to play.
Yeah, I don't have.
No, it says out. Sorry, Lauri Markkanen out.
Okay, well that's something. We should probably update projections.
Well, I just came in like 2 minutes.
No, not you. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm just talking about like in general.
No, I will. I mean, I'll put him up there eventually.
It really, like, honestly, my lineup was built almost as if he was out, because I have Clarkson, Kessler, Beasley already.
Yeah, me too. That's so funny. I had Kessler and Clarkson in my main lineup.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, and they already updated him on DraftKings. I'm sorry, on SaberSim on DraftKings for the Utah guys. No, nothing major. You know, played well the other day. I don't know if you noticed this. The Taylor Horton Tucker.
He's just gonna have those weird games. You know, it's a very hard guy to ever trust.
Yeah,
but I do think that like the upside of him is probably like he's much more in consideration, obviously now.
Oh, and you know what else that happened to me today? So I got shut out of the lottery on the main slate. So I had to play the one that played like $5K for first.
Same here. It was like, well, when did it sell? It must have sold like yesterday or something.
No, I just forgot.
I tried it like 6 a.m.
I was just an idiot. I just forgot to put it in.
I tried it like 6 a.m. I swear it was sold. Maybe it was like late in the day. I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, why am I getting all this Alvarado?
So he's another one that like price wise it makes sense. The minutes of he played 30 minutes in the last game, so the minutes projection on him is a little bit all over the place. He's 4K. There's not that much else value. There's not much other value.
Right.
But like I just don't think you need to do it. I think it's fine, but I don't think you need to do it. So no Markkanen. I still don't have updated things. Shoot. That's sort of like that game was already the game for me. So like, I don't know, other than making Vanderbilt and Sexton. Sexton is the guy I would really look to, actually. He was out the last game, which made Taylor Horton Tucker a better play. I believe Sexton's available today, at least as of right now.
Okay.
They like this Adbaji guy. I'm not going to play him.
Yeah, he's getting a little projection. He's getting like 12.
Yeah, it's like and he's interesting. Like I watched him play. He's kind of an interesting player. Man, the Jazz and Pelicans, if they don't dominate the West for the next 15 years, I don't know what to tell you because they have literally every draft pick. Like it's pretty nuts. Oh, and the Thunder. Between the three teams, they literally have all of the draft picks. All right, let's see.
Clarkson and Kessler. Yeah, this is what I want.
I'm a little iffier on whether I want to play what's his name instead. Whether I want to play Vanderbilt instead of Kessler. Because Vanderbilt, without Markkanen, can be a thing. Like I know it's not always the thing. His minutes he goes in waves. But he's extremely he's always going to give you a chance at a double-double. If he can get anywhere near 30 minutes ever, they still have a lot of bodies, though. I think I'm going to go Kessler. Watch Kessler, 2 quick fouls. Vanderbilt puts a 50. No, I'm serious. He's got it in him. All right, I'm putting one in, at least a smaller buy-in, so I don't have none of it. Yeah, maybe that's my move is to take I think the move is to take the 4 out from Minnesota and make it the others flip-flop it.
What'd you say?
Get more from Utah than from Minnesota.
Like maybe I don't have to play like Terrain Prince.
You didn't have to anyway. I liked it in the stack, but now we already have is there a better thing we can come up with? I actually don't mind him though. And the fact that he's questioned, I still am interested to see what happens if any of these guys are out.
I wonder if Dyson Daniels is a better play than Terrain Prince.
I like Dyson Daniels. I like him in general. But if you're having that conversation, then you get into the Alvarado. How did the minutes work? You know what I mean? For Daniels to get it, all of them.
I mean, he's starting.
Taylor Horton Tucker is not going to be the most projection booming player on the slate. Yeah, for sure. It's a little misleading though, because we still have. I think Sexton's supposed to play, isn't he? I think he's in. I think he's not on the injury report, so that's going to kill some of Taylor Horton-Tucker. I think Sexton is kind of the interesting piece, right? Because like he probably doesn't get the ownership and projection the others do. He basically had, he's coming back from the injury, so he hasn't played a ton of minutes, but they're not going to play him on. They played him on one back-to-back. He could play 30 minutes, man. If he plays 30 minutes, that's like the steal. Right? Like
He's 3,600.
Sexton? No, Sexton, no.
Oh, I was talking about Horton-Tucker.
Yeah, he's the obvious one. I think he's going to be the most popular play. So I'm going to skip him. I'm trying to go a different route with it. Because I do think a lot of people are going to build the way that I'm building. I don't think I need to play Mitchell then. Make sure to get McDaniels. So, Beasley, Sexton. Can I get away with that? Beasley and Sexton. Why isn't Sexton having more of a projection? Should be higher.
Sexton?
The problem is like one of these guys is going to fail. Like, just don't know which one, but there's still a lot of bodies on Utah. That's all I can say. If I play Sexton, Beasley, Kessler, I think that's enough. And then I can take away Prince. Maybe I do play TH. That's too much, though. Like then you're playing like there's only so many backcourt minutes.
Maybe we're supposed to just play Optia. It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you can play. Yeah, I think he's a good play. He had 20 rebounds. That was so nuts. Like, how did Denny Abdia have 20 rebounds? The guy we complain about because he has like 7 and 2 in 28 minutes. All of a sudden, has 20 rebounds. Mobley. Did you have any Mobley sheets?
I have my big buy-in.
It's weird because it's like, again, we're looking at the same stat sheets, right? Like, it doesn't make sense in some ways. Fuck. Gobert, Edwards, Sexton, Beasley, Kessler. That's the automatic plays, I feel like, for me. I do think that Sexton gets the overlook. But I do like THT. If they were at home, I would like him better. Fuck. I think this is tricky, though, with THT because no matter what, we know that like it should be Sexton who's getting a boost, and I feel like it's a mistake. How about this Najee Marshall story, man? This guy's become awesome, huh?
Yeah, I have him too.
Top spin.
Yeah, the annoying thing is that I'm trying to change my lineups based on market and being out, and then I just keep coming back to like just wanting to keep them the same.
That's okay, because they are deep. Like there is plenty of ways this could go. You know, it's not.
Well, you're saying like I had Kessler and Clarkson anyway. I mean, like,
yeah,
it's just a matter of whether I want to play like Taylor Horton-Tucker or something.
Right. How much Curry do you have?
Not as much as I should. Yeah, I'm gonna need Mr. LaMelo to do something here, or go to overtime, or both. I mean, like
20 seconds to go. I just got my lineup in. Ugh.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. I do like Clarkson.
We get to see some ownership at least.
I have Curry though. I wanted to play Mitchell so badly, and I ended up with Curry because I couldn't find the right combo. And I ended up with Mobley. How did I do that?
I'm all right. 20% Curry. That's
It's
reasonable.
a good matchup for Mobley, but like, I mean, man, you want to look for 40s from a guy. It takes a long time. And I love him as a player. Like, he's an unbelievable real life player.
Yeah.
What is this one in sheets? Oh, that's the one.
This is the early one. This is the bigger one. It's the 222. But this is
That's
the one
gonna
that
be
needs
tough.
overtime. This is the one that needs overtime.
You need the overtime.
Yeah.
It's got a shot.
Of course. And it correlates because I need Ball to have a good rest of the last 6 minutes to go to overtime anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty straightforward game for you. If you get overtime, you've got a chance. If you don't,
there you go.
but hey, it happens, man. You're probably I think at this moment, like 8-9%.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You win everything, though, probably, if it happens.
Probably. Smart going to the line for 2 shots. Maybe get him off the snowflake and someday.
The problem is it's just you're just gonna need some hot.
Well, there's plenty of problems, but
yeah, you're gonna need like.
You know, it'd be nice if Marcus Smart like hit the rim on a free throw. That'd be nice too.
How is PJ Washington on a 2-game slate at 5,400, only 21% on?
He was the top point. He was my top point per dollar play on the whole slate.
I don't even understand that. Like, did somebody make a mistake?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Like, I would have thought he was literally like 95% on.
Well, you know, the cool thing is that this whistles go woo below me. I'm sure he only has 1 entry in this, so I'm sure we're in good shape here.
Yeah, somebody with a name you haven't seen is probably the favorite.
No, all these guys are. I need overtime, but it's something to root for. That's it.
Hey, there you go.
Kind of annoying. McDaniels is off the court with his career high. Guess they don't want him closing. That's reasonable, though, I guess.
It's weird with him, the minutes. I don't know Charlotte's. I don't understand. Like, I see a lot of things with McDaniels. I'm just like, that guy seems like a decent player. The other McDaniels, I think, is actually going to be like a stud. In 2 years, we'll be talking about him as like one of the more valuable, like 3-and-D, versatile kind of guys in the league.
Ooh, LaMelo with the alley-oop to Plumlee. I like that. That's good.
Getting off the snowflake.
He's off the snowflake. That's it. Back on. He's back on.
It's back again.
Because I think it dropped below the 5-minute mark.
Below the 5-minute mark, it was it. And no double, triple possibilities kind of thing.
Oh, the Olay defense on Horford.
It's back. It's away.
The Olay defense on Horford. Uh-oh.
They scored, though.
Yeah. Not us, but whatever. Rozier, I forgot he's played. Matherin off to the usual good start.
I love him as a player.
Oh, my God. Smart with the turnover to a guy I don't have who takes an and one, a guy I don't have. Oh, that's not good.
Who was it?
It's Rozier. Rozier's
it actually is good, though, because now the game is closer.
Right. That absolutely.
Oh, man, I would have been – that's one thing I could have promised you. I play Rozier against the Celtics.
Yeah, it's probably –
I never miss it. I don't even know what he's put up today. I have no idea, but –
yeah, I don't know either.
I'm guessing he puts up – he's literally going to shoot the ball 20-plus times every time.
He does.
I'm going to.
Dude, I'll tell you who's like sneaky, who's been listen, he's been getting some minutes and no one's been playing him. Now again, they might drop him off the face of the earth again. When Turner was out a couple of times, whatever, like Brissett was under 2% owned and he was getting like 25, 30 minutes.
Oh, I know.
When they were playing him alongside him.
He was really high owned in the big one the other night.
Not Brissett.
He was Brissett. He was 18%.
Well, when I played him on the Friday, he was 2%. So
yeah, not Friday
because of that good game.
It may have been Wednesday.
Yeah,
that's crazy though, man. That's Well, Mobley and Curry, 17 and 12%. Okay. That's fine enough with me. And then the rest of it's Utah, Minnesota. I'm surprised I didn't do better at football. Gabe Davis was my favorite play of the week. Like I really had like things that I thought were going to work. And I think I just made a little too many Burrow stacks.
LaMelo barely hit the rim and rebounded by a guy we don't have. This is we got work to do.
Work to do, that's for sure.
Need a stop. And we could use a stop. You don't want to guard Tatum, right? That's not a good idea. Oh, he missed one. That's a miracle. Missed one and a Plumlee rebound. And a charge on somebody in a Charlotte uniform on Plumlee.
Okay. Plumlee's a big time charger, that guy.
He is. He just ran over Smart. It wasn't even a charger. He was just like running down the court, and he didn't care that somebody went his way. He just knocked him right over.
I'm surprised Robert Williams is not having a better day. I don't see him at least in that.
No, yeah. Yeah, this Matherin, we picked up on him like one of the first games of the season. He's very active, that dude.
Yeah, anybody who is a rookie who's a top 10 pick and says LeBron has to show me that he's better than me as your first tweet, you're in for me. Like I'm going to give you, if you have that confidence, that means you're going to shoot. I don't care if you're good in real life, but he actually is good in real life. And he is like.
Yeah, so Mobley, 17%. Reasonable, I guess. I knew they were going to pound Jared Allen. Brunson, 21. Valanciunas, 16. I almost played Scotty Barnes. I didn't. And again, nobody plays him ever. Donovan Mitchell is 2% in
That's disgusting to me. I'm so angry at myself. If he has.
Dude, what if I told you there was a guy who was going to play 40 minutes who like never passes the ball and he's 1% owned?
Who?
RJ Barrett.
Oh, I love the Barrett thing.
He's 1% owned.
How is everybody playing? Everybody's just playing the same game that
they're just playing Jared Allen.
Shit.
And the late game, yeah. McCollum. Wow. McCollum is 1%.
Jesus. I actually considered him McCollum. That was my trying to get the game stack with McCollum and Mitchell.
Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that Anthony Edwards is going to be 65% owned.
100%. But what if he's not playing?
If he's not playing, he's going to be 30% owned.
Where are we going to spend? The win line is going to have like 10,000 left if all those guys are out.
Garland at 12. That seems a little more than I would thought he would be.
I liked him. I just like Clarkson better.
Daniels, 5%.
Kispert. People are on the Kispert thing.
They really are, huh? 10%.
Doesn't matter if Monty Morris is back.
All these Maswa lineups. F you. Yeah, you go take your Kispert and.
He actually has an interesting line that he's taking, though. You can see it in his lineups. He's going to play a ton of Valanciunas on the other side of that thing because assuming that he gets more minutes because of the bigs, the dual bigs. I don't think it'll matter, but I think it's an interesting line.
Dude, everybody got suckered into the Alvarado play. It looks like 24% owned.
I don't know if it's even suckered though. Like it's not. I think it's too much. It's too high owned.
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing Torian Prince though.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? You can be one of those guys people think people are going to play, but they just don't play.
Maybe they just play Horton Tucker instead.
Yeah, because they don't want to stack them in this.
Because if you play both of them and then you have Mitchell and Curry not that high owned, who the hell are people spending up for? So,
dude, if somebody actually gets there with Anthony Lamb, they can beat me.
Yeah, I'm not.
Meanwhile, Julius Randle scores like 70 fantasy points every game.
He's awesome, man. But it's a terrible matchup. But it almost doesn't matter. Like if you're just going to play 40 some odd minutes and you're active, you know, things are going to happen. You know,
most points scored on Martin Luther King Day. Damian Lillard first with 61. Second is Kemba Walker.
Two big narrative guys.
Yeah.
Did Kemba's happen to be in the Garden?
I don't know.
He had, I mean, that was the easiest thing for a while. You know what I mean? Like Kemba in the Garden.
Yeah.
It was going back to college. You know what I mean? Like it was just automatic. But then when he was in Nick, it's a little different.
Those are always fun. Like the random Kemba Walker starts, having not played a minute in 6 months.
Yeah.
And he starts and scores 60 fantasy points, and he goes right back to the bench.
Yeah.
I remember like one of the more kind of infamous games in like recent Knicks history. Might have been 15 years ago or something like that. On Martin Luther King Day, they played at home against Charlotte. They lost by like 40. It was like one of like the, I mean, I want to say 40, like maybe it was 35, but it was like kind of known as like, I'm going to pull this up actually. Charlotte Knicks MLK Day.
Am I just an idiot for not playing Najee Marshall, like in general? Like, what the fuck am I doing? Guy just does it every game. I love this Trey Murphy, though, in real life, man. That guy's going to be a freaking player.
Wait, was this it? There it is. Knicks suffer worst home loss in team history.
Oh, my God.
The Knicks fell to Charlotte Hornets 111-68 for their 8th straight defeat. January 21st, 2002, 20 years ago. Coach Don Chaney did not like what he saw. Oh, really? It also sounded the longest losing streak in 15. Latrell Sprewell was 0 for 9 shooting. Allen Houston was 5 for 15 shooting. Yeah.
That was actually a good team.
And the leader for Charlotte was UCLA's own Baron Davis.
Our boy, my favorite player when I was growing up of any player.
You liked him more than what's his name? Than not Tyus Jones. Who's the guy with the that drove the lane in the tournament behind the back coast to coast?
Oh, Tyus Edney.
Tyus Edney, right? That was
I love that team, but I was like Toby Bailey was my guy, I guess.
Toby Bailey, that was not an attractive young man.
His kid plays for us now.
Yeah,
he's good too. His kid's an NBA guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's gonna be in the NBA. He's projected as like the 20th.
The Tyus Edney.
That was my of all the sports years in my life that I enjoyed the most as a little kid with the '88 Dodgers because I watched like every game.
Right.
Cool. The '95 UCLA team was probably my most fun as like a little bit of an older person. Other than then, you have the Dodger World Series that was in Texas, which was weird, but to be able to go was pretty cool.
Right.
What's your best sports one, Sheets?
I've just so many. Whatever. I mean, I was a Yankee fan growing up, so I had all that shit. I was at like the Reggie game. I was 10 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I was at a couple of good ones. I was at the Giants Super Bowl when they beat Buffalo. That was fun. All right, LaMelo. What? All right, you got to make this, McDaniels, dude. That was like that could have been something. I'll even take a Rozier 3. No, nothing. I think they've run out of juice. Oh well. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, maybe we'll have a sweat later.
Maybe. You never know.
All right. Well, good luck today, buddy.
Okay, I'm gonna log off now. If you listen, everybody, like he said, when Bobby says, to hit the like and subscribe, it's not just for whatever. I mean, when you hit subscribe and notify, that's when you find out if we're going live. So we don't have to come on the Discord and say, hey, everybody, we're going live. Like if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and get notified, then we don't have to, go on there. So, All right. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, Sheets.